Hello. Welcome to our channel A to Z Immigration Updates. If you want to settle in Australia with skilled work regional, provisional, visa as main applicant, then this video is for you, with detailed information about what is the skilled work regional, provisional, subclass 491 visas for Australian immigration. Firstly, here are some benefits that you will come up with skilled work regional, provisional, subclass 491 visas. Stay in Australia for 5 years from the date they grant you the visa. Live, work and study in a designated region of Australia. Travel to and from Australia as many times as you want, while the visa is valid. Apply for permanent residence, if eligible, through the Permanent Residence, Skilled Regional, Visa, Subclass 191. You can't apply for other permanent visas until you have held your Subclass 491 visa for 3 years. You and all members of your family unit, who are also holders of the visa, will need to live, work and study in a designated regional area of Australia. Your nomination must not be withdrawn, or you will not be granted the visa. What are the pathways to permanent residence through skilled work regional, provisional, subclass 491 visas? If you are eligible, you will be able to apply for permanent residence through the Permanent Residence, Skilled Regional, Visa, subclass 191. Unless you have held your Subclass 491 visa for 3 years, holders of the Subclass 491 visa can't make a valid application for a Subclass 820, Partner, visa and granted Subclass 132, Business Talent, Subclass 186, Employer Nomination Scheme, Subclass 188, Business Innovation and Investment, Provisional, Subclass 189, Skilled, Independent, Subclass 190, Skilled, Nominated, Subclass 858, Distinguished Talent. Besides of this, how long you can stay in Australia with skilled work regional, provisional, subclass 491 visa. This is a temporary visa. You can stay in Australia for 5 years from the date they grant your visa. You can't stay in Australia longer by extending this visa, but you can explore your visa options. Can you include family with this visa? You can include members of the family when you submit your visa application, or add a dependent child after you submit but before they decide on your visa application. What is the cost estimation for skilled work regional, provisional, subclass 491 visa? $4,045 Australian dollars for the main applicant. There is also a charge for each family member who applies for the visa with you. To know what the visa cost, you can check its link is in the description. The estimator does not take into account the second installment or other costs. You might have to pay an extra charge for any applicant 18 years old or older who has less than functional English, which is called the second installment. Pay it only when they ask you to. They ask for the charge only if they are going to grant the visa. The second installment charge for family members is $4,890 Australian dollars. The visa pricing estimator does not include the second installment or other costs. You might also have to pay other costs for health checks, police certificates and biometrics. Now the most important question is from where you can apply for skilled work regional, provisional, subclass 491 visa. You can apply from in or outside of Australia, but not in immigration clearance when you apply for the visa and when they decide on your application. If you apply in Australia, you must hold a substantive visa or a subclass 010 bridging a visa, a subclass 020 bridging B visa or a subclass 030 bridging C visa, otherwise your application will not be valid. What is the processing times of subclass 491 visa is the most common thing comes to candidates' mind. Processing times assess by applications on a case-by-case basis, and actual processing times can vary due to individual circumstances which are whether you have lodged a complete application, including all necessary supporting documents, how quickly you respond to any requests for additional information, how long it takes to perform required checks on the supporting information provided, how long it takes to receive additional information from external agencies, particularly in relation to health, character, and national security requirements. You and your family must comply with all visa conditions and Australian laws. If you want to know more about click to the link description. You can travel out of Australia and return as many times as you want while the visa is valid. The time you spend outside Australia does not extend the visa. They will digitally link your visa to your passport. You will not get a label in your passport. Here are the eligibility criteria for the Skilled Work Regional, Provisional, Subclass 491. You can only apply for this visa if they invite you. Submit an expression of interest, EOI, to let Department of Home Affairs know that you would like to apply for the visa. Indicate if an eligible relative is going to sponsor you for this visa or if you want a state or territory government agency to nominate you. Now let us know, are you eligible for nominated or sponsored? There are two types of nominated or sponsored categories. First is nomination by an Australian state or territory government agency. If you are nominated for the visa, the department will invite you to apply. All state and territory government agencies have their own criteria for deciding who they will nominate. You can contact the state or territory agency directly to find out more about their nomination process and what they want from you. The states or territories are New South Wales, Northern Territory, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, Western Australia. Second category is sponsorship by an eligible relative. Your sponsor must be 18 years old or older, usually resident in designated area of Australia. Be an Australian citizen, an Australian permanent resident, or an eligible New Zealand citizen. Be your eligible relative, or your partner's eligible relative if your partner is also applying for this visa. You must be either nominated by an Australian state or territory government agency or indicate that you will be sponsored by an eligible relative. Submit an expression of interest, EOI, for the visa to get an estimate of your points score. If you score enough points, state and territory government agencies can see your EOI and might nominate you for the visa. If you indicate in your EOI that you will be sponsored by an eligible relative, the department may invite you to apply for a visa in an invitation round. An eligible relative can be a parent, a child or stepchild, a brother, sister, adoptive brother, adoptive sister, step-brother or step-sister, an aunt, uncle, adoptive uncle, step-aunt or step-uncle, a nephew, niece, adoptive nephew, adoptive niece, step-nephew or step-niece, a grandparent, or a first cousin. The department must approve your sponsorship before you can be granted a visa. What is the age eligibility for Skilled Work Regional, Provisional, Subclass 491 visa? You must be aged under 45 to be invited to apply for the visa. You can still apply for the visa if you turn 45 after they invite you to apply. If you turn 45 after you submit your EOI but before they invite you to apply, you will not receive an invite. You also need a suitable skills assessment for eligibility criteria for Skilled Work Regional, Provisional, Subclass 491 visa. For your application to be valid, you must declare that you have a suitable skills assessment at time of invitation. You will need to provide a copy of this skills assessment with your application. For medical and legal practitioners, they also accept the full or unconditional or general medical registration with the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency. Conditional specialist registration with the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency. This only allows you to practice in your specialty. You need no further training or supervision. Admission to practice law in the relevant state or territory. Your skills assessment must have been obtained in the 3 years before the date of your invitation. If the assessment was for a shorter period, that period must not have passed. If your skills were assessed on the basis of a qualification you got in Australia when you held a student visa, the qualification must be from studying a course registered on CRICOS. You have to be able to score 65 points or more for visa because the Subclass 491 is a points-tested visa. When you submit your EOI in Skill Select, you will be given indicative points score based on the claims you have made. If you do not obtain a score of 65 points, you will not be invited to apply for this visa. If department do invite you to apply for the visa, your invitation will state the number of points that you must score when they assess your application for grant of the visa. This score may be higher than 65 points, depending on your claims in the EOI. When you lodge your application, you must provide evidence supporting your claims. To check how points can be awarded, refer to the ITS link in the description. English language level is also matter to be eligible for Skilled Work Regional, Provisional, Subclass 491 visa. At the time of invitation, you must have at least. But if a family member 18 years or older is applying for the visa with you, if they must have, or they must pay a second installment visa application charge. For Skilled Work Regional, Provisional, Subclass 491 visa. You must meet the skills requirement to be eligible, and to be eligible for this visa, your occupation must be on the combined list of for a skilled regional, subclass 491, visa. You can check eligible skilled occupations list. Its link is in the description box. Family members who apply for the visa must meet their health and character requirements. Family members not accompanying you to Australia might also need to meet their health and character requirements. If your partner or dependent children are not included in this application, you have to tell them the reason why. For example, they already hold Australian citizenship or are a permanent resident. You must have paid back your debt to the Australian government. If you or any family members, including those who do not apply for the visa with you, owe the Australian government money, you or they must have paid it back or arranged to pay it back. You have to sign the Australian Values Statement. If you are 18 years of age or older, you must have read, or had explained to you, the life in Australia and confirm you will respect the Australian way of life, obey Australian laws when you sign an Australian Values Statement. You might not be eligible for this visa if you have had a visa cancelled or refused while you were in Australia. Check if visa cancellation affects your eligibility. Now the main point comes, that how to apply for this visa. So, here are step-by-step details of application submission. Step 1 is, before you apply you must submit an expression of interest, EOI, through Skill Select to let the department know you want to apply for this visa. Step 2 is, you will need to provide documents to support the claims you make in your EOI and show you meet the other visa criteria. Step 3 is, apply for the visa. When you have your invitation you can apply online. You can be in or outside Australia. You have 60 days from the date of your invitation to apply for the visa. Fourth step is, after you apply the department will let you know when they have received your application. If you are granted a bridging visa you will receive notification of your visa grant. The fifth step is visa outcome. You can be in or outside Australia when they decide your visa application but not in immigration clearance. They will let you know their decision in writing. If they grant your visa, they will tell you your visa grants number, the date your visa starts, your visa conditions, if applicable. Keep a copy of the decision. If the department refuse your visa, they will tell you why they refused the visa, whether you have a right to a review of the decision. And they will not refund the application charge if they refuse your application. So that's it for this video. We hope you like this video and gained some beneficial information. Thanks for watching. For more immigration information, click on the link in the description. And stay tuned with us and don't forget like, share and subscribe our channel.